What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 167. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011, and today I'm joined by two wonderful guests making their return to the podcast. First, we got Mrs. G over here.
Hello.
And we got Lady making a return as well. So, yes, lots to talk about. One kind of giant topic discussion today, but we'll get into that in a minute. If you guys want to catch the podcast live, and go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011, usually live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You join the chat, join on the conversation, join on the fun. We'd love to have you there in on the conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that is A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support, comments, reviews, shares, whatever it is. It may seem small, but it does help the channel grow, helps the show out. So whatever you could do would be greatly appreciated. So yes, today we are talking, like I said, one giant big topic. We're talking about Disney World because we just went on a decent trip to Disney World. And decent, I mean time length wise, it was an amazing trip. But 10 days?
10 days.
10 days down in Florida. Exploring Disney World, the various parks, doing a lot of things and activities. So we want to kind of wanted to just reminisce already. That sounds sad, but revisit the trip, talk about it, have some fun, and share it with you guys. So I guess just to start off, we have a wide array of Disney goers, I guess, on this trip. So we had new people going for the first time, at least at Disney World, and then some of us returning. So, Lady, I'll start with you. As someone who is experiencing Disney World for the first time, how was the experience for you?
It was really good. I was scared that I wasn't going to like it.
Oh, yeah?
Well, because I had the experience as a kid that left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Sure.
That I didn't like and didn't have a great feeling about Disney in general from those experiences. So this was very redeeming.
Gotcha.
For me, because I had a great time the whole time. I loved it. It was overwhelming with how many people were there, but I feel like we prepared ourselves to be aware of that before we went. And so it was great. There was a lot of good food, and I liked every ride that we went on, which was also surprising to me, and so it was great.
Good.
How about the company? Did you enjoy the company?
I did enjoy the company.
Okay.
And Mrs. G, this is what, 5th or 6th trip overall to
This
World?
has to be
7th?
93. Well, 90. And then when you're 5. And then
5, 10, 15. Prior to California was the last one, and then this one.
yeah, Papa Griff?
Fact
6th
check.
or 7th.
Okay. So how was it for you returning after an 8-year span from the last Disney World trip?
Well, it was way too long of a span. I love Disney, as you know. The differences I saw was more basically due to the COVID crisis. Old Disney, pristine. You walked in, there was nothing on the ground. Like, you would not find a wrapper or anything on the ground. All garbages were, taken care of and stuff. This trip, I'm not saying that it was like a mess. It just wasn't the pristine Disney that of years past. Didn't change the way I felt about Disney. Not at all. Not at all. Just noticed that, hey, they're a little understaffed. This could be done a little bit better and stuff, but I'd go back in a heartbeat. If somebody invites me tomorrow, yep, I'm there. You gotta pay my way, though.
Right.
I'm broke. But yeah, no, definitely ready, to plan our next trip, and I hope Papa Griff will be able to go with us next time. Unfortunately, he stayed home with the dog, and then wound up, I gave him the big C, so he wasn't feeling too well during our time away. So, but overall, yeah, I guess, as Papa Griff says, we stay at the same resort. Let's change it up. And we did, Aunt Cindy and I did visit a couple of different places, which were very nice, very expensive. But yeah, next trip, maybe try out a different resort.
Okay. Nice.
I really liked our hotel that we
Yeah.
stayed at.
It felt like home.
It
I
was.
mean, well, because we knew it, and it just was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many, I feel like now, the next time we go, I want to try another one just because I'm curious, because there's so many. I'm just, like, curious to know
how they are. Yeah.
Yeah. But I liked this one, though, so maybe. I don't know. I liked the one that we stayed at a lot.
Well, maybe stay on the other side, the French Quarter, instead of the Riverside. I mean, I know Papa Griff likes the French Quarter, so we could do that. Or, I mean, he wants the Contemporary, but we definitely would have to save up money for that one.
Right.
Well, you kids could stay at the, French Quarter. We could stay at the Contemporary. Or wherever. But, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought of another thing.
Sure. Go for it.
Because when I was talking to my mom about our trip the other night, she asked me how we got around once we get there. And I was happy with
the bus.
Yeah. It's not great when it's super packed, but I felt like they did a good job of, like, they come when they're supposed to come. If one goes by and it's too full, they'll send another one. Like, it was pretty reliable. Yeah. And I felt pretty comfortable with it compared to
4, 5, 6,
other places and public transportation in general.
Right.
That is unreliable.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you both had good experiences overall from, a first attempt. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. And then, obviously, the 7th return. So, yeah, chat, if you guys didn't know or haven't been following this journey, we've been planning quite a bit. You can't see anything on that piece of paper, but whatever. We've been planning quite a bit, and obviously with the help of Papa Griff, planned everything, I wouldn't say super meticulously, but we had a decent layout of what park is when our dinner reservations are, if we were doing any extra hours events, when those would be, opens, closes for times of parks. So we had a pretty good plan going into it, and I think that definitely helped the situation.
That helped a lot.
Yeah. And
sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was very helpful for me going for the first time, going with you guys who have gone many times before, because you know where to go and what to do and kind of how to plan it. I think it would have been extremely overwhelming going, not that I would go by myself, but like,
sure.
Yeah.
if nobody had been there before and we were like trying to wing it, there was like so much stuff and it would be very overwhelming, I feel. So the planning was very helpful. You guys, having been there before, knowing what's fun, was very helpful, and I feel like that made it a lot more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, Disney is hard to wing it. You do need a plan to go in. You gotta set your sights like we did with what we wanted to do and everything, and we mapped it out.
Right.
And it's just because of the crowds. You have to.
Yeah.
On our honeymoon, I mean, that was the first time Dad and I went to, Disney, and we had no plan.
Right.
But it was so nice. We sat and we watched the characters, and that was our first experience at Disney. And every time we've gone since, we've done more and more and more. And sorry,
you're good.
great memories.
Yeah, I agree with what both of you are saying. The plan is definitely good, and I could see how it's intimidating for newcomers to it, as we even heard on this trip. Like, and that's the thing where, for example, talking to someone at work who is going for the first time since they've been a child, and like, it can be overwhelming, and that's something I don't know, as a Disney park fan, I don't want people to be like overwhelmed and that to take away from their vacation. But it's certainly one of those things where, yes, the planning definitely is necessary, but to an extent. It shouldn't be like all these things are thrown at you and then you're overwhelmed with it. Granted, some of the things are very, maybe not very convoluted, but can be confusing and need better either explanation, wording, whatever it is. But I think if you give yourself ample amount of time to prepare for that, if you're a newcomer, or you have a resource like you mentioned, someone you can ask who's been there before, it's definitely going to facilitate an easier time and make it overall a better experience compared to someone who maybe is just winging it. That is a lot if you are considering, wait, how many parks there are, and then can you go to different parks? No, it's a different ticket. Oh, what's the app? And then no, you have to do well, you don't have to, but you can do this to do that, and like can be very overwhelming, which obviously deters from the rest of the vacation and good atmosphere that should be going on, regardless of it's Disney World or any other destination. So yeah, the planning definitely helped. Papa Griffin chat said, I think the whole COVID thing made the detailed planning more necessary because of park reservations, hopping restrictions. Not that we didn't do them before, but had to this time. That is 100% true as well, with all the changes from the shutdown to now. I mean, granted, the farther we get from that initial shutdown, as we've already seen, changes and restrictions will, modify or go away that they did set in place. But at least for this trip, there were a lot of, not hoops to jump through, but there were extra things that we needed to be aware of ahead of time. But I feel like we gave ourselves ample time to do that. It wasn't last minute or the week before. Like we were, and granted, to some people that may seem a little like you planned 6 months ahead of time what you were doing, a little crazy. I get that, but I think it worked out in our favor where we knew what we were doing, but also we had a plan, but we were flexible with our plan too. It wasn't perfectly laid out like we're going to this ride at this time, then we have to this ride, then we have to this ride, and then if something didn't work out, it was like everything was gone.
Right.
That would have made it way less fun.
We had like a general layout of day to day, and then we just knew some of our hard time commitments of a dinner reservation or the parks opening if we wanted to be there at that time. Then we could do that. We did. But yeah, I think the planning overall went great and definitely helped everything, or helped the experience overall. So yeah, speaking of the experience overall, so yeah, we were there for 10 days. We went to the 4 parks. We didn't go to the 2 water parks, Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach. We gave ourselves some time to go to Disney Springs, formerly Downtown Disney. And then we had ample time at each of the parks, going to each of them twice, except for Animal Kingdom, which we went once, and Magic Kingdom, which we went 3 times, being the days. We didn't hop too much. We did towards the end of the trip, just because I guess we felt a little bit more comfortable and we kind of had seen what we wanted to see. So instead of breaking things down day by day, I think we'll just break things down park/area at a time and just our general thoughts, experiences with each of those sections. So we'll start with the boring one, I guess. Let's start with Disney Springs. So those of you guys who don't know what Disney Springs is, I wouldn't call it a park. It's more of a marketplace, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So a lot of shopping, a lot of dining areas. There's some rec areas, like I know they have a bowling alley and they have a movie theater. I think they used to have clubs and stuff.
They used to, yes.
I know they used to have the 5 floors of video games, which R.I.P. Disney Quest, but so it's more of a very lax, somewhat Disney experience, kind of.
You don't have to buy a ticket.
Right, you don't
You
have a
could just
ticket.
go.
Anybody can go.
Right, so it's just on Disney property, and it's both available in World and in Land. I don't know if it's called Disney Springs in Land.
No.
But obviously the experiences are very similar. Disney Springs in World is a lot bigger than Lands, but granted, that's everything just because of the limited amount of space California has, compared to, acquiring all that land in chunks in Florida. But what did you guys think of Disney Springs, or your experience with it this time? Mrs. G, I will start with you this time. What did you think of your return to Disney Springs?
It's shopping. That's basically what it is it's shopping. I enjoy going into the world of Disney and seeing everything, and like looking for new things. Like, hey, I don't have this, and there was also we went into the crystal store and I saw some Snow White items that I really liked. I snapped pictures of them and said, because one was really expensive and the other one was doable. And I, this is the first day. I don't need to, be extravagant and buy everything. And so I just looked. That was our first day. And then we also had a friend whose daughter works at one of the places at Disney Springs. So we made sure that we found her out, and Aunt Cindy and I, and we said hello on behalf of her mom, and stuff. It was just nice, just being there. So when we landed and everything, our first day was going to Disney Springs, and it was good to have kind of a easier day, just because of me recovering from the COVID, and easing our way into the whole Disney experience. Yeah. So that was nice. I really enjoyed the live band that we saw. Gentleman. He was only a one person act, wasn't he?
In Springs?
In Springs. Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was just one guy.
It was one guy, but he was great. We sat there, we listened to him for a little while, probably about half hour or more, before dinner. And on dinner, Planet Hollywood changed. We didn't realize that it's a more of a sing-along club now, where they have Disney stuff and non-Disney stuff to sing along to. So it was very loud in there. And I know it did bother Kate a bunch, just because it was so loud.
It was so loud.
Yeah. And so I was unhappy that it ruined your experience a little bit. I didn't want you. I was worried, and Cindy and you, we wanted to make sure that you guys were having fun.
Sure.
Love Disney as much as we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like...
at least to start off the trip, was a downer, I guess.
But for the most part, I mean, it really is, it's a lot of walking. We tried, what was the
ice cream?
Oh, the ice cream.
Swirls on the water.
Swirls on the...
That's the pavilion or the...
No, it was that Swirls on the Water.
Is it? I thought that was the building. And then it was a mint.
The place.
It was,
That was the place.
Yeah,
that's
that
what
was
I'm
the place.
Oh,
that was the place.
The place
right.
is called Swirls on the
Yeah.
Water.
Right.
And it was a mint chip and chocolate soft serve with a chocolate waffle cone.
It was
really good.
awesome. It was awesome. Papa Griff turned us on to that, which as we go along, Papa Griff actually turned us on to a lot of food that we should try.
There's the guy in the chair just reporting in. You go,
He was just like, oh, gotta try this, gotta try that. So we went along with a lot of things of his suggestions. So, and it was really, really good.
Yeah.
But it was, it was good walking. It was a good start of our whole trip with, we gotta walk this.
Right.
Well, we took the boat from our resort into Disney Springs, which was very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That was fun.
Very
I liked
relaxing.
the boat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a good experience. So,
Yeah, I'll agree. It was a good ease in, like you said, to the trip. It would have been a lot different if it was land and then we got to go immediately to a park, especially middle of the day when we got in.
Yeah.
It would have been very rough start. So to have that
buffer
day, yeah, exactly, that buffer of like, okay, we can do whatever, and we just, obviously happened to choose Disney Springs because we knew it was the more shopping-esque adventure. Yeah, I think that worked out. I think for me personally, it was kind of like a tale of two halves for Disney Springs. It was like when we first got there, like you said, the boat trip was very nice, very smooth and relaxing. When we got there, it was like, oh, all these stores in the front area were interesting. Yeah. And then we got to like a third, past the Lego store, and it was like, I don't care about any of this. It was like more... Retail, thank you, exactly. More name brand stores and like just, it didn't...
That was really for the average Joe, the Floridians that were there.
That's true.
Hey, I'm going to the mall. That's their mall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we ever walked all the way down to Cirque du Soleil. I know.
I don't know if we got all the way down.
I don't know if we got all the way to the ending.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think we stopped here because we didn't see Splitsville, which is like somewhere over here or something like that. So maybe there was more interesting stuff up farther, but no.
No.
But yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, we hit a point and that was it. Yeah, I agree. The ice cream was great. We didn't go into Rainforest Cafe, but obviously everybody just, the volcano explodes. Having that go off was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. Lady, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. The boat over there was really nice. I liked it a lot. I'm really glad that we had that day. I feel like if we had tried to go directly into a park, that would have been way less fun. Like getting there in the middle of the day, being tired from traveling. It was just nice to have that.
Right, because you guys had an hour to crash.
Right.
Yeah. So that was good. I didn't particularly feel like I needed to go back, and we didn't go back, but it was nice to have a few hours just to walk around. There were some fun stores. I like the Christmas store that they had there. But yeah, like you said, once we got past all the Disney stores, it was just like a regular mall, and I was less interested in those stores, so I was happy with our one afternoon.
Oh, you didn't want Louis Vuitton?
Before we, that was Disney Springs, just pretty much that one afternoon. Before we move on to our next park, two things. One, I should have mentioned, I'm going to try my best in post, so if you're listening to this audio, video people, I'm going to try my best to put some pictures and video along with the edit, so check out that version. So sorry about that, should have mentioned that first. And then also we had Aunt Cindy with us, and it was her first time in Disney World, so I have her thoughts here. She was very nice enough to write some notes for me of her experience of the trip because she couldn't be here for the recording. So just her experience real quick as a first time. Said she really enjoyed everything. Of course, celebrating her birthday and Kate's too was a lot of fun. Wearing the pins, the happy birthday pins, first visit pins, stuff like that, wore them proudly. And all the cast members that she interacted with were great and very polite and helpful and kind. So she just really appreciated that experience, especially from them, just of, their sincerity and their positive attitude just kind of added that extra layer to the trip, which I agree. I will definitely speak on, as we continue. But speaking of continue, let's talk about Animal Kingdom, our actual first park day. So yeah, we only did 1 day of Animal Kingdom because from at least our past experiences, it's always been more of a half-day park, or, there's less to do. In past trips, we did maybe 2 things. We did the safari, and then we would go do the river rapids, and then, like you mentioned, Mom, with like each trip, you kind of gradually did more and more. And I think that's definitely been our experience with Animal Kingdom, or at least definitely mine, because there are more thrill-esque attractions there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, at least in my experience or my thoughts after the trip, I think this was the best Animal Kingdom day out of any of the trips I've ever gone.
Because you got to explore more? Or?
I just thought, the day, we had a full day there. I think we stayed, we did rope drop till 6, maybe not 7. We didn't do close, but we did a majority of the day there.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was super crowded or super rushed or anything. It still felt very relaxing and calm in terms of the pace. It was just a really good experience overall with Animal Kingdom. And granted, there were a lot of new things that I was trying with the Pandora area.
Right.
The last time we had gone to Disney World, they hadn't built it yet. I think it was maybe the following year. Yeah. So it's experiencing that for the first time, and then I don't know, it felt really rewarding. Sounds like the wrong word, but it felt just once again our best Animal Kingdom experience ever. Yeah. So Kate, I'll start with you. What was your experience with Animal Kingdom?
I really loved it. I had a really, really good first day
Do you want
there.
I have the...
the drawings?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I could put photos in
okay.
the wall.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think it was the least crowded park, and so that was good for me, again, as somebody who gets really overwhelmed by a lot of people, to have that be the first full park day didn't feel overwhelming. And I just had a really good time. I loved going on the safari, and then we walked around and saw all the different animals, which I loved doing. That was so much fun. We went on Everest, which was a really questionable choice to be the first roller coaster to go on after not having gone on a roller coaster in many years. I was shitting myself getting off of that, and I said I would never go on it again, and it was very scary.
They went on it.
And then,
and then we did go on it again. At the end, we hopped back to Animal Kingdom on
our second to last day.
Yeah, our second to last
something like that.
Day.
So Saturday.
After I had gone to all the other parks and gone on all of the other roller coasters that were not as intense as Everest, I was like, okay, I want to try it again. And then I had a lot of fun on it, and we got back in line and went on it again, and it was great, and I loved it. So, that was... I love the river rapids. I could have gone on that one again. Especially if we were there on days that were really hot. The second day that we were there, I don't think it was as hot, but
right.
Being the person going backwards down the big hill and getting the big wave of water over you, it was really fun. I loved going on that.
We got soaked.
Yes, we did. What else did we? There was a lot of stuff that you did that we didn't do. Right.
So stuff that the rest of the group did not do that I did. So after all that stuff that we mentioned, I think we did River Rapids last.
Yes.
Because we were like, if we're going to get bodied by
this. If our shoes are going to be filled with water.
We don't want to be walking.
Oh, we went on the Avatar River.
Avatar.
The River Adventure.
Which I liked a lot. I still have never seen Avatar, so I had no idea the context of any of it, but I just enjoyed it because it was really pretty. It's just a really relaxing, nice
journey
river ride, and the ride looks really good. It's really pretty. It sounds really good. I like the music that they had in it. So I had a really good time, even though I've never seen the movie. I liked it a lot. I liked everything that we did this day. I loved it.
Nice. Yeah, there's a few things that I did without you guys. So I went on Everest again after your first ride. And then we kind of split. We divided and conquered. I went to go do Dinosaur, which still, as hectic as ever with that ride vehicle. You would never make it with like how you reacted to Indiana Jones. It's the same thing. The ride itself, I mean, it's fun, but it needs some TLC, which we'll talk about later about some other things that kind of did. It wasn't the worst. It's one of those rides similar to the River Rapids, where if you get a good car, it just adds to the experience. The Jeep I had was great. I was just laughing the entire time because everybody's just panicking. Just panicking and everything. So that was a lot of fun. And then we regrouped and we went to Avatar for the first time. And I will say I not rushed, but I felt like we were a little bit quicker with that area. Like I think when we return, I think I would like to go and just walk or stand in it a little bit more. And take it in because I mean everything looked great with the floating mountains and whatnot. The river journey was calm and relaxing. That animatronic is very impressive. That was incredible. Like videos do not do that thing justice. Seeing that thing IRL in person was really good. Yeah. And then doing Flight of Passage for the first time. I don't know if it was just because it was the beginning of the trip and the Disney excitement, but that felt like a second, like an out-of-body experience almost, like after that ride. So if you don't know what that ride is, it's basically a simulator, but it's simulating you flying on a Banshee from Avatar. So you have to sit on the ride vehicle. It's kind of situated almost like a motorcycle, not Tron-like. We'll get to that later as well. But you have to sit on it, straddle, hurdle, whatever. And then, you're riding it, but you lay... I don't think you might have laid your chest down. And then a back support will come up back behind you and kind of clamp you in. And then, similar to Soarin', it's the big screen in front of you, and there's multiple... Like, it's the line of you and your group, and then there's multiple of those around as you're zipping and zooping on the Banshee throughout here.
Okay.
There's no, I would say, super action-y parts. There is one area where you do kind of a barrel roll. There is dives off cliffs, but nothing like strenuous or like we need to get out of here quickly because we're being chased by something or whatever. It's more of just like, here's the world of Avatar Pandora and take it in. So you'll see the Avatar people and their civilizations like going through with their herds of animals or whatever. And but that was crazy because, well, a lot of their simulators are very good that you obviously feel like you're in it. But this was something different where even the ride vehicle added to that experience where it's going to sound weird, but it breathed. Like you could feel the Banshee breathing between your body. No, like not bad, but like by your legs where it is, you could feel just like that it going in and out. Yeah, so it just like added to that. And as long as you didn't like obviously look to your left and right at your neighbors, like you're in that experience. And it was just very, very cool. And I can see why so many people like it now. But yeah, that was great. That was my first Lightning Lane experience too, which we'll talk about later. But that was perfect and didn't have any issues with that. And then we did Rapids after that. So a few things on my own before we regrouped fully. But Mrs. G, what was your experience with the Kingdom?
Well, loved the safari as always. Wish there was more animals in the morning. I know you guys went back and did the safari in the afternoon, and there were more animals. But that was kind of always our way.
Our routine,
our routine. We go to the safari first and everything. That was nice. I really enjoyed going and doing the animation. We drew Fox and the Hound. So we've had to travel by train over to the conservation area.
Yeah, conservation station or something.
And they have a 45-minute class,
Yes.
half-hour
Yeah.
class. And the first one we drew was the hound.
Was Cooper? Yep.
So we drew the hound, and they give you this piece of paper and pencils and a clipboard. And they have the face already, not the face, but a circle
Sure.
already into the middle of the paper. So you have guidelines. Because the last time we did it, which was how many years ago?
8. Excuse me.
There was
Or
no
more.
guidelines, and we were doing Mickey Mouse. And my Mickey Mouse turned out to look like Mortimer. So the guidelines helped. So it was awesome. Aunt Cindy had a great time, like, trying to do the pictures. Your guys, oh my God.
I think everybody's
Awesome.
look great.
Everybody's looked really
Well,
good.
we had good guidelines.
Yeah.
That
And
helped
a
lot.
funny, both instructors were funny.
Very good. Yeah.
Very, very good, very kind, very nice. Aunt Cindy wound up at the end because she's Aunt Cindy, and she's very, how can I say it? Fun
Lovable.
to be around. Yeah, lovable. She's me. No. Both of the artists gave her their original drawings, so she thought that was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed going, and after our first class with doing the hound, they told us that the next class they were drawing the fox. So why don't you stay and get both drawings? So we did.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have our collection, which will be going up on the wall somewhere. Dad's going, which wall?
Right.
But so that was fun. And then when we went out, there was a petting zoo,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to see some goats and stuff, and pet them, and it was just nice. We went to Kate. Aunt Cindy and I went to Pizza Fari for lunch while Bret was off doing his dinosaur ride in Pandora, or the
Dinosaur. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and going back to Pizza Fari, it was delicious, and
It was good.
It was good. So, just liked all of it, especially the river rapids and getting soaked and just laughing our asses off.
Mm-hmm.
We did
that
the
was
whole
just- And if anybody knows, I laugh loud and hard, and so doesn't Aunt Cindy.
Oh, yeah.
But we were all getting good laughs. So
Yeah.
we got soaked, but it was worth it. And yeah. And then that evening, we just hung out at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, and Aunt Cindy and I went and actually saw a performer at the resort, and just had a drink, watched him, and enjoyed ourselves. And we're early to bed, so. But yeah, Animal Kingdom, can't say enough that it's nice. Just park to walk through and enjoy. Mm-hmm. And we got to see Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, yes. Kevin. So Kevin's from Up. He's the
Bird.
big bird from Up. And he was walking around, and I got my picture with Kevin. So it was all good. It was all good. And
really
we
fun.
saw the floats too with the
Flotillas, yep.
with so we saw Timon, and then we did see I can't remember the kid's name, and it was on Up.
Oh, Doug and Russell?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Russell's the kid, Doug's
Russell's.
the dog.
Yes, we saw both of them,
Mm.
and I think that was it.
Mm.
There might have been somebody else, but we saw the river floats, so that was nice that we caught them. But yeah, all in all, it was a great day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the flotillas are a great addition. I think those are only COVID new.
Yes,
Because they were trying to keep, obviously, couldn't do the character meet and greets. I think that was great.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
think they should
whoop.
keep them.
Yeah,
I
have
think
them
they
by.
should. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the characters, like there was Pocahontas and
Miko. He's
Yeah.
the raccoon.
Yeah, there's them. There's the one with the band on there going
yeah.
by.
Right. Well, that was the introduction. That's how you knew they were coming.
Oh, I didn't realize they were like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was just all random.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like one of those things, like it's living the park or whatever, just kind of that experience going on. Similar to the cavalcades in the other, or Magic Kingdom at least. Yeah, going back to the safari. Yeah, it was kind of like a crapshoot each time of like the different experience. Like our first one was okay.
Yeah.
It kind of built up towards the end. One of our last ones that we went on, when we hopped for Everest, the beginning like chunk had nothing.
There was nothing.
Nothing.
And then when we got to the savannah, there was everything. We saw so many giraffes and rhinos.
All the lions were out.
Yeah, the lions were out. So like it's very hit or miss of what you're gonna get. But I mean that also makes it that rideability helps.
Yeah.
Right.
Because every experience is different. You'll get a little bit of the same spiel from your your.
Did you know that a lion's roar can be heard up to 5 miles away?
Oh. that stuff will be the same, but your experience, at least what you see, is different. So I'm glad we went out 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think we may have gone twice. Did you go
No.
again? No.
No,
I thought
we
you
only
went
did
again.
it once.
Oh, okay.
Somehow we went on it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went on it twice
Maybe
the
we
first
did it.
day,
First
and then
day.
you went.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say. One thing I wish we did know, or rather that I wish I remembered. So you talked about Rafiki's Planet Watch and the conservation station. When we went on the safari, we learned on Disney Plus there's a series in production or partnered with National Geographic, and there's 2 seasons of it. It's episodic, and they talk about their conservation efforts with the animals and different surgeries that they performed or helping newborns come in or whatever things. And at the Planet Watch, there is an observation area where they show off animals, or sometimes if they are doing a procedure, you could observe that. But unfortunately, yeah, we didn't. I know we didn't really explore much. We knew what we wanted to do with the drawing and then the petting zoo, but we didn't really explore really much of that area. But that's something I kind of wish I did remember when we were out there, at least to pop over, because yeah, just
I
in
would have
case.
liked that. If they were like doing a surgery on an animal, I want to stand and watch it.
Yeah, or even if they just had someone out there. Because since we've been back, we have watched that series pretty much all the way through. And just hearing, like, the animals they're talking about, some of those animals were the animals we saw. Like, there was Grace, a baby gorilla, which we saw. Gino, a bigger silverback, was there. I can't remember.
There were a couple manatees.
Yeah. Oh, Little Joe that they talked about. We saw him in Epcot during our aquarium time. But that would just, I don't know, been like a little connective, like, oh yeah, I heard about you or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was a great time overall at Animal Kingdom. Very good.
I loved it. It
Yeah.
was really fun.
Yeah. I'm interested, the royal weave, I don't know, have heard of potential plans with this last D23 of changes that could come to the park, or at least additions, with the Dinoland USA mostly being torn down with the, what is that, the spinning ride, the Time World, Medieval World, Primeval World, that's what it is. That being torn down. They still have the arcade games right now, which I think that's fine. I think that's okay for the little guys. And obviously they have the Boneyard, which for smaller kids run around in. I think that's great. But they've talked about either adding, I believe, is a Zootopia land or area along with...
Yep.
Can't remember if it was Moana or something else. Maybe if Papa Griff's still on, he'll remember and fact check. Doesn't matter. But adding 2 areas over there in that section, or at least somewhere in the park. I'm curious to know how that will affect the crowds, because obviously we all said like it felt more open. And I mean, Pandora, granted, is 7 years old, so it was still crowded over there, and still people wanted to do those experiences.
Yeah.
But the rest of the park, not barren, but was more open. So it'll be interesting to see when our return trip is, if those areas are built, how that experience will differ, in terms of crowd flow, whatever kind of thing. Zootopia and Moana. Thank you. Appreciate it. But, that'll happen with anything new that pops up. Everybody's going to gravitate towards it, as we'll talk about as we continue. And just given time, hopefully we'll disperse. But, there's nothing wrong with the additions. I'm not trying to say that. Just curious how that flow will change. Let's move over on to our next park of Epcot. So, a few days at Epcot. We had 2 planned days. Kate and I hopped there a little bit. Oh no, we went on our break day.
Our next day was
No, we're not. Yeah, we're not going.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going park by park.
Of
general experiences.
Oh, okay.
All right. You
I'm
guys are very this day we did this. I'm that's fine. But
oh my nose.
No, that's fine. I just thought we don't want to be here for 3 hours. Day one, we did
We're
this.
going to be here for 3. We've already been here for almost 1 hour.
Exactly. So.
It's Disney, baby.
So let's talk about Epcot and our experiences with Epcot. So, Mr. G, would you like to start with Epcot?
Epcot, yes. So the first day that we went to Epcot, which was the girls' birthdays, it was raining.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't just the regular Florida rain where it was in and out. This was kind of more a constant rain, and then at one point it poured.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, but we did do, it's the floral and garden and floral.
Flower and garden.
Flower and garden time from now until
July.
I think.
Yeah, it's a long festival.
Yes. So they have Snow White is one of the featured characters, and so isn't Orange Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there was Snow White items to buy. Not enough. Not enough that captured, but I did get the ears, which the kids were kind enough to get for me before I went somewhere that we'll tell you about later.
Okay.
Because we're talking about Epcot. And then I got myself the shirt. But it was really good. I mean, even in the rain, to see all the floral decorations and stuff, and just the characters in
The topiaries?
yes, the topiary. Thank you. Amazing. How did they do that? Some of it did look like they might have had a foam thing to work from.
Yeah, they might have fudged it a little.
Yeah, yeah. But for the most part, it just was awesome. We went through the butterfly part, and that was nice to see all the butterflies and all the flowers, gorgeous flowers. But we did the egg hunt, and we also looked for bees.
Spike the bee. Yep.
Spike the bee. And you had to pay $9.99, and you get a little map. And you went and you looked for different places. This is the egg one.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave you different descriptions on where to find them. So the kids were better at spotting them, and so wasn't Aunt Cindy.
Oh yeah, she was.
She was
Really, yeah. She was finding that bee really good. And once you filled this out, you brought it back, and you could pick out an item, a dish, or I got a Snow White dish, and I also have an Easter egg with Dopey onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Kate picked out 2 things for herself.
I got a orange bird cup and a Marie egg.
Yep.
So, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, you can't go wrong with. It doesn't matter if it rains in Disney. because you still have fun no matter what. We had ponchos. We put the ponchos on, and I'll tell you, they were just hot. So we decided, nope, with the ponchos and took them off and just got wet. It was, but that was the World Showcase. We zipped through that, finding those things, but we also did the land, and the land and the living seas, and so it was just nice memories. It's just going into them and sitting down and just going through it. It's just like, it brings everything to light. Like, oh my God, yeah. Like, you're not the most important thing in the world. There's other things out there, and just
no, I'm kidding.
It just was nice. That our first day was, like I said, range, but then when we went back, it was totally different. Like, well, when we went back, we did the Ratatouille ride, and we did what else?
Frozen.
Yes. Took Aunt Cindy to see Frozen, and we did the Frozen ride. And there was something else. Oh, we saw the troll.
Caballeros.
Yeah, saw the 3 caballeros in Mexico, and that was fun. Ratatouille ride, for me, I did love it, but with getting motion sickness, I did take the Dramamine, but I still had to shut one eye and go through the ride. That helped me because things were coming right at you, but oh my God, it was great. Like, the animation, the whole, just feeling like you were a mouse, a rat, a rat. That was cool. So I would do that ride again, no matter what. Like, definitely. But yeah, I love Epcot. I love going through. We didn't really concentrate into this part.
Well, there's not much in the World Celebration area because they're doing so much construction.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys who don't know, they've had this plan for a while. I think it was pre-pandemic, where they were going to redesign a lot of the World Celebration in the front area of the park. Redesign it, redo new buildings. So they used to have the Electric Umbrella, which was like their quick service restaurant there. Took that down, took down some Disney play areas, or I don't recall the exact name of it. So they started that pre-pandemic, and then unfortunately pandemic did happen, and supply chains, all that jazz, I don't know exactly, but they hit a snag. So they finally have, as far as like last year, 6 months ago, something like that, they finished the Connections Cafe and Connections Eatery, which is their new quick service area, but they're still working on a lot of construction in that front area, so they're adding a Moana area also there, which we saw from the monorail when we rode in. That looks great. We didn't see Tafiti. Apparently you could have seen her maybe at some point if it's not covered. I'm not sure if it's a ride or maybe just more of a walkthrough experience. Along with the rest of it, they used to have a big fountain there. I think they're putting a new fountain there. I don't know. You can look into it to see exactly what they are putting in that area. But there was a lot of construction going on in Epcot when we were there. So it was very, maybe disjointed is not the right word, but it was that at least the front area from Spaceship Earth behind leading to the World Showcase was all kind of disconnected. You had, once you entered the park and got to the golf ball or Spaceship Earth, you were either go right and hit the land in the aquarium and then go to World Showcase, or go left to pass Guardians, Mission Space, and Test Track, and then hit the World Showcase on that side. It was very disjointed in terms of that.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how that flow returns once all the construction is done.
I do want to mention, though, more food that Papa Griff had pointed out to us. So I tried the cucumber watermelon drink at Epcot at Disney Traders by Mexico. Kate tried it too.
It was really good.
Really good. They also had a strawberry shortcake, which I love strawberry shortcake. It was good. The biscuit was, I needed more whipped cream or something because the biscuit was a little dry. But I enjoyed it. Not saying I didn't enjoy it. I really did. And then we also did the tacos.
The vampire taco.
Vampire tacos. Holy crap. Those are awesome. Like, I think we were more foodies on this trip than we ever been.
For sure, yeah. You mentioned the festival earlier, and maybe it was just me, either as a kid or me as a bigger kid, not paying attention to those things. Mm-hmm. Also, we went in summertime, which is a different festival entirely. They all have food focused around them, but I was never super adventurous with food, so I wasn't what's in the World Showcase, let me check out what's here and there. So this trip at least, and it could have also been the preparing, whether it was like Dad mentions Tim Tracker or Adam LaWoo. Tim Tractor. Watching their videos, seeing the stuff, it was like, we had that visual beforehand, right, and knew what it was made out of, that made it more appealing instead of just reading a placard or whatever. Our past experiences would have been food and wine, which, like I said, all the festivals do have food, and similar to the scavenger hunt, events that you can do around the World Showcase, whether it's food related, where you get so many items and then drinking. And then you get an item at the end of that, or it's a scavenger hunt. They do have these activities that you can do. But for sure, we were definitely more adventurous.
Right. And we did, Anthony and I ate the second day at the American...
Oh, the pavilion? Yep.
Pavilion. And so I wanted a hamburger. I just wanted a hamburger. So I thought America would have a hamburger. No. They had brisket. So I had a brisket sandwich because I'm like, that's beef. It'll be fine. Right? I didn't like it. I mean, Bret said that he's not adventurous onto his food palate. That's our doing, because we're not adventurous either.
No, I mean, I'm just always like, chicken tenders, which is fine. But I don't know. Even still, it's just like, I don't want to try.
I know, So, unfortunately, I wasted my money there. Because I tried to eat it. I really did. I ate half the sandwich, and then I just looked at Aunt Cindy and I said, I can't do this. Right. And threw the rest out. But we made up with snacks or whatever, because we got a popcorn bucket and just kept refilling that. So. But other than that, I'm done with it. I've been talking.
Oh, you're fine. So, Kate, what was your experience with Epcot?
I liked Epcot a lot. It was raining the first day, which was less fun, but it did not ruin the day. I really liked doing the scavenger hunts. That was a fun way to kind of like make our way around, but still kind of have something to be doing. If we didn't want to stop in each place, so like each country, we kind of just like hit a little bit and then kind of kept going. Did we do any rides really the first day?
First day was there? First day we hit up. We hit up Land to start.
Right.
We went to after that Imagination with Figment.
Oh, Figment!
And then we did the Finding Nemo or Sea with Nemo and Friends, which led into the aquarium.
Right.
And then after that, I believe we headed to the showcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I liked all of those. I liked the land probably the most of those three. I liked walking through the aquarium. I wish that there was more aquarium. It felt kind of small. Like there was not that much
the levels.
Yeah. But I enjoyed what was there. I liked it a lot. So I had fun with those. I had fun doing the scavenger hunt. Aunt Cindy and I were wearing our birthday pins on our actual birthday and for the entire trip. And there were so many cast members who said happy birthday. Like, a ton of cast members and just other people who were there said happy birthday. And that just makes you feel kind of extra special. And
yeah.
so I appreciated that, and like that was like an extra fun thing. Trying to think, I think that's all that we really did on the first day, and then the second day, you and I went on to Spaceship Earth. What's the one that?
So that wasn't. I don't think that was our second day. I think that might have been our third day, because the second day was technically that in between day. I think we might have did the World Showcase a little bit more.
Yeah, we did the World Showcase. Oh, and I got the frozen violet lemonade, which was also really, really good. I loved that.
I wish I tried that.
It was really good. And we got the fried cinnamon roll bite.
Oh, cinnamon bites, yeah.
Which were also really, really good. I found a ton of Orange Bird stuff, which for some reason that I don't even know why. He's like my favorite thing. I've become obsessed with Orange Bird. And he's not even a character in anything. He's not anything.
He was made for advertisement.
Yes,
and
they
now
literally
just
made him as a mascot for a citrus company in exchange for sponsorship.
Right.
So he's literally just a bird with an orange for a head. But he's really, really cute. And so he was like the mascot of the...
I'm surprised you didn't wear him.
I know, I should have worn him. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of Orange Bird stuff that day, which I loved. And we'll have to put in a picture of my little
shoulder guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
My little shoulder guy. I should have worn him, but I didn't think about it. So that was really fun. And we got a Orange Bird cup that the drink that was inside it didn't really care for. It was like an orange
Slush.
It tasted like a orange dreamsicle, which is just not something that I particularly like. So I just got it because I wanted the cup. So I ended up with a lot of Orange Bird stuff, which I love.
So you're kind of mentioning Spaceship Earth. So yeah, that was our third day from a ride experience. And then Test Track. What did you think of Test Track?
I liked it. It was, I don't know if we watched a video of it, or I was expecting there to be a voice that was saying what you were testing at each point that you go through the ride. So I don't know if there never was and we just thought there was, or if there was and it was broken and it just wasn't working. So the beginning of it was like, okay, I don't particularly like the brake test. That's what I didn't do well with on Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland, so I didn't like that part. But at the end part where you're just going and you go hella fast, that was really fun. I liked that. And I liked making a really horrendous monstrosity of a vehicle before you get on the ride, which we'll have to insert a clip of that because we really just made it as horrible as possible. However, it did come out on top, number 1 in the tests at the end.
3 out of 4.
Our monstrosity. So,
yeah.
I don't know what that says about anything. You did a good job.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the first day I couldn't do Test Track. I wasn't feeling I would be able to handle it. And then we missed out on doing Test Track with you on the second day we were there. But how did you like Coral Reef for your birthday dinner?
It was really good. I loved it. I got the orange salmon, and it was delicious. I loved it.
Yeah, I think Aunt Cindy liked it a lot, too. She mentioned how cool it was with all the divers going around and swimming in the aquarium that was just next door. So
yeah, so the one whole wall of the restaurant is viewing into the aquarium. Yep. And that was really cool. I liked that restaurant a lot. I had a really good dinner that day.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Epcot was a lot of fun. I've never been a giant fan of World Showcase, but yeah, once again, the scavenger hunts, I'll agree, that was just added another layer to it. So ride-wise, these two mentioned everything that they went on. So technically our second day, it was like our added day. We had an in-between day or a middle day in the middle of the trip where we just kind of divided and conquered, had a wide open, no plans. I decided to get up early. Well, early. The same time every day. I didn't sleep in that day. And kind of had a solo day. But I went on Mission Space, which I joked about vehemently prior to the trip, that it is death incarnate.
Yeah, you told me do not look at it,
Yeah.
do not think about it,
Yeah.
do not approach it.
Somehow still very popular, still has a line, even though everybody I listen to watches like, this is the worst ever. Yeah, so there's two sides of Mission Space. It's another simulator. There's a green side, which I did this trip because I didn't want to kill myself. And then there's an orange side, which is the initial launch ride and the more intense experience. So green is just the simulator. Orange is the simulator, and it's a centrifuge?
Centrifuge?
Thank you, Jesus. It spins
The
around.
vomit side of the ride.
So I did it once back in the day with Charlie, and I checked the box. I'm good. I don't need to go through it again. You know, I probably could and be fine, but yeah, it's okay. So I did that. I hit up Frozen that day and learned that you don't sit on the side of the boat, especially if you have the whole row to yourself, because you will have your ass soaked the rest of the day. I went on Caballeros, which was cute.
Oh, yeah, we did that when
Yeah,
we were
we
there,
also
which
did
was
that.
fun. I liked that. I'm a Donald Duck fan, so
Right.
I liked that. And we met Donald
We did
while
meet
we were
Donald.
there,
Yep.
which was also fun.
Yeah. And then the only other experience that I'll just talk about in Epcot that I got the chance, luckily, to ride twice, thanks to Lightning Lane. I would have done it a third time with Virtual Queue, but unfortunately got a headache that day, was Guardians of the Galaxy. So this is like the newest thing, well, at least via our trip. Post now, there's a newer thing, but the newest thing in Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This ride is so much fun. It is intense. It's a coaster in the dark, but instead of you maintaining your orientation forward or backwards, your car will pivot. Now, it's not a free pivot where you're just going to be spinning like a mad person, like Roger Rabbit's in Disneyland.
Yeah.
But the car is planned to rotate and pivot based on banks and turns that you are making on the ride. So you may be going sideways around certain things, or if it's an up and down, maybe they'll go up and then you'll go backwards down the thing. And it's the two times I went on it were very different experiences. Both fun. I would still recommend the ride via both experiences, but the intensity level was a bit different. So the first time I went, I was not the direct back, but I was the second to last car. And that was crazy because, obviously the additive of it being the very first experience of it, other than watching the intro because you can't see anything else in the dark. A lot of fun, very, very cool to see and experience everything. But I think something that helped that experience compared to the second one, where the second one, I was not the first car, but I was the second car. I could see where the track was the first ride. I couldn't see the track the second ride. So that was like really being whipped around. Now, granted, I don't know if it's 100% the ride or if it was unfortunately a misstep in my routine where I didn't have water earlier in the day, which led to the headache. I don't know what it was. It could have been a combination of things, but that ride felt way more intense that time. But both experiences were good. Another kind of instance of TLC, which we'll kind of talk about later, where unfortunately some things were not working during the second experience, and actually the first experience, which I noticed the second ride through, was like, oh, that's doing that now. But both times were good. Lightning Lane was a savior. The virtual queue, which I guess I'll talk also about later, but I'll touch upon now. First time I tried it, the first day of Epcot, did not get into it. The second day I was able to get into it, but my ride time was not until 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, I got in late in the virtual queue. Granted, it could have been spring break. Well, it was spring break.
It was.
And all the people there were so many people getting into it that it was a later virtual queue. But the process of getting into it was not difficult. It was just select it, how many people are you trying to get in, and, whoosh, you know, you just check off there. All good.
But I heard you had to, like, 7 o'clock.
Every experience that was either a Genie Plus, which we didn't do, and I'll once again talk about later, or virtual queue or lightning queue, I just, not out of fear, but just out of everybody talking about it, I always took advantage of 7 o'clock, make sure you're ready. And I never had any issues with it. That was probably my latest experience of, like, you're riding that time, but also it is really dependent with a virtual queue of how the flow of the ride is going. Like, it could be faster, it could be slower, and it will tell you and notify you when your time is ready. I was just checking back throughout the day out of curiosity, like, oh, they're boarding groups 41 through 50 right now, you know. So they'll have a range too. It's not like you have to wait specifically for your number in, like, direct succession, if that's how it would be formulated. I don't know. But yeah, it would have been 3 o'clock or something like that, a little later, if I was to actually write it again. But that one was great. I unfortunately didn't go on Remy's. I've watched a ride through of it, but that's something down the line, you know, one day we'll get to. Spaceship Earth was weird. Very dark as hell.
It was very dark. I just happened to see the sign as we were getting on that was like, don't ride this ride if you don't like dark enclosed spaces.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't, but... And it ended up being fine. Like, it wasn't scary, but there are some parts where you're just sitting in the pitch black.
Thank God the voice was working on that one, because that would have been weird.
Yeah. So, it was okay. It was like... I don't know. It
was one of those ones where I've never done it before, so it was like nice to
I wouldn't wait.
Experience it.
I wouldn't wait necessarily.
But that was
online for it.
Was an easy one?
Oh yeah, that one's very.
You go very
calm.
slow.
It's just an omni-mover. It's Halloween or Haunted Mansion, excuse me, just in the golf ball.
Oh, all right.
Talking about communications and how that's
'Cause
evolved.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things like I probably could have done that.
I feel like you didn't particularly miss out on a whole lot.
No.
Not going on it. Honestly, my favorite part was when you get to the top and you've gone past all of this stuff. You kind of lean back as you're going back down, and the top of the ball is like a night sky with a bunch of stars, and so you just like lean back looking up at that. I was like, I could have done that for the whole ride and been happy with that, but it was just a chill. Like, it was nice to sit down.
Yeah,
yeah. Just do it.
Something with this trip that I wanted to do was more. I talked about it before, but like experience everything. That's why I went on like a mission space again, or like these experiences that we didn't go on to, like a Spaceship Earth. Like we'll talk about later, Carousel of Progress. Like I know it's not the most exciting ride ever, but I've never done it. I was like, I don't care, why not? So that was just my thinking with it.
You did do Carousel of Progress?
That was my first time doing Carousel of Progress. At least to my recollection and knowledge, maybe when I was 5, I don't know. I don't remember a lot of that trip. I remember, meeting some characters. I remember Uncle Ian doing the bike and that, seeing the video of him green screened in there.
Yeah.
And then us meeting Mickey after. But yeah, I couldn't tell you. I remember Mr. Toads because we talked about that ages ago with a podcast.
Yeah.
Because like, what is this ride? And then riding it again in California, be like, I remember everything. But
yeah, I was sad they didn't have that. I love that ride.
Mr. Toads.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Too bad that they.
Well, when you put their places, that's why I always saluted to him when we passed him, handed over the deed.
And the last thing I want to say that. Food-wise that we got. You and I got fish and chips at the UK Pavilion, which was very good. I liked it a lot. And you also surprisingly liked it.
Yeah, it was fine. There's not a lot of flavor to it. It's just kind of like bread.
Yeah, the fish in fish and chips is a very mild flavor. It's like a white fish that is not very fishy. So I liked it a lot. It was really good. Yeah,
just like one of those things like, this is fine, but I don't know if I would ever get it or crave it, I guess. But yeah, it was fine. So moving on to our third park, we got Hollywood Studios. So, lady, would you like to start with your Hollywood Studios experience?
Sure. Well, I feel like maybe had the least amount of stuff that I did or went on. But I had a couple of rides that I really, really, really loved. The first day that we were there, this park felt the most, this is where I felt the crowds the most. I was quite overwhelmed the first day. It was much better the second day that we were there. I don't know if there actually were less people or if I was just prepared for it. But the first day I was like, wow, I feel like I can't move. Because there are so many people in this park. And I guess the flow of the walkways just was not as good or something.
Yeah.
This felt much more crowded than the other parks.
Yeah. This park doesn't have a great flow compared to the other ones that have that hub and spoke old design. Like, if you really stare at it, you can see it, but it's not the best. Where Hollywood, you know how you have the dead end of the Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster section, and then technically there is that giant circle of Runaway Railway to Toy Story to Galaxy's Edge back around, but it's a long circle, and it's just it's an interesting flow. Papa Griffin chat, Main Street versus Hollywood Boulevard is very different. Boulevard.
Yes.
Yes.
So, like, I didn't even go up into Galaxy's Edge because I didn't want to deal with the humanity that was up there, so I didn't even walk through. However, we went on Slinky Dog Run and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which were two of my most favorite rides. I loved them so much, especially Slinky Dog. If that didn't consistently have like an hour and a half wait, I would have gone on it like 8 times every day. I loved it so much. It was so fun. So those were by far my favorite things to do in this park. And that, I mean, I guess I'll probably talk about it a little bit later. I feel like we got, at least for me, I got to go on every ride that I really wanted to go on, because we got there first thing in the morning. But later throughout the day, it's so crowded and the lines can get so long that you just have to be prepared for that. And like, part of our plan was to get there first thing in the morning and go right on to stuff that we wanted to do, and that's how we made it work with getting to go on everything that we wanted to go on. But I would have gone on it way more times if there was less of a line. So those were by far my favorite things that we did there. What else did we go? Oh, we went on the alien
Swirling Saucers.
Swirling
Saucers. We did those twice.
Yep.
Which was also very fun. I liked those. I like when they say, listen.
Listen. Bienvenido. Yo soy Slinky Dog.
We listened to the Spanish safety briefing on the Slinky Dog ride so many times that now we just say that
to every ride.
Every ride. What else did we...
Papa Griffin chat also asked, how did you like Midway Mania, which is another ride we went on?
That was really fun. My biggest struggle this entire trip and in life in general is that I have very high anxiety about germs and getting sick. So, as one can imagine, it was very stressful being at Disney World where everybody else on the planet Earth also is there and touching the same things that you're touching. So, I feel like I did a really good job dealing with that anxiety, but that was present for me every day. So, a ride like Midway Mania where you're touching the same thing that other people are touching to interact with the ride kind of stressed me out. So I just did the
sleeves
over the hands, and that helped. It was really fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
I wasn't great at it. Well, because I was sitting next to you who was so good at it. But I had fun. We only went on it once because that was another one that always had a long line. So I don't think we waited. We got it at a good time.
We got a good time.
We didn't have to wait a long time, and I'm glad that we went on it because it was fun.
No.
What else did we go? We went to the Indiana Jones stunt show, which was okay. For some reason, I thought it was going to be more exciting or something. Which I don't know
But
what
things
else.
went boom.
I know. I don't know what else I wanted because stuff was exploding and they were like jumping off.
You're
and
just
stuff.
mad because you didn't get to go down for the audience participation part that they haven't done since pandemic. Instead, you just go ooh ah in this crowd.
So it was fine. I don't know if I would necessarily. I probably would go watch it again because it's nice to like sit there and be entertained for a little bit.
Yep.
It wasn't my most favorite thing, but I didn't dislike it by any means. It was good.
No, but waiting for it was a good 5-minute nap. Just sitting there
Oh,
waiting.
sitting there.
Yeah. Because I tell you, we were tired, so I'm sitting there and Sydney's like, "Are you sleeping?"
Yes.
My eyes are closed. I'm not sleeping. I hear it. I hear it.
We went to Muppet Vision 3D,
Mm-hmm.
which was a show, which I'm glad that you guys wanted to go to all of this stuff because that's not something that I would have ever gone to if it was just me, but I liked it. I had a lot of fun.
Still as I remember it. I'm 10 years old.
And I'm glad that the 3D things that we did were short. I feel like they were short enough to where I didn't get a headache and I didn't feel sick afterwards. If they had been like a longer show, that might have been different, but I feel I did.
Did you take any Dramamine? No.
No.
See, I took 5 tablets in, the whole trip.
Which is not a lot.
No, because
No,
I
that's
had
not
like
a lot.
32.
Oh.
Like, I came prepared.
I feel like I did surprisingly very well with motion sickness. Like I went on, well, not all the roller coasters that were there. Everest was the most intense one that I went on, and I was worried, especially after the first time, that I was going to feel sick afterwards, but I didn't.
Right.
So that was good, and I was happy with the 3D shows that we did. Which I don't know if it's putting the 3D glasses on over my glasses, but I still had times where it was like, the 3D thing is happening, but sometimes I was still like seeing double, or it was like not in focus, and I don't know if that was just me or if that's just part of the 3D effect. I don't know, but I still had fun. I still liked them. What else did we go on?
I think that might have been it for
me,
rides for you, yeah.
we had the breakfast tater tot.
Oh, the tachos, yeah, Woody's lunchbox.
They were so good. They were so good. We got them again the second day because they were so good.
Yep.
It was tater tots and gravy and eggs and sausage.
Yep, and then chives or whatever.
Yes.
No,
chives.
potato barrels. That's popular. You get it right.
He's right.
Nicholas
He's
Mouse
right.
will come after you.
Yeah, I know. But those were delicious.
Yep.
Loved it. And we got the cookie.
Oh, the Jack cookie, yep.
Also, so good.
Jack cookie, yeah. It's a chocolate chip cookie that comes in a very small, like, pie tin. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that thing is chock full of chocolate chips.
It was really good.
Oh, didn't tell us about that.
Well, you guys aren't with us.
No, you ditched us. I swear, 3 rides in, okay, we're done. You guys okay? All right. Here's your map. Use it. I'm like, I'm here. I want to go there. Mm-hmm. Oh crap.
Yep. I did not go on Tower of Terror. I don't know if I ever will. But I did have a good time. I had a comfortable bench in the shade, and I had a really good view of Tower of Terror while you were waiting to go on it. So I could see the doors open and see the people come up and hear them screaming as they went down. So that was fun to watch them. And then we ate. Should I talk about the dinner that we had?
Sure, we've kind of been throwing in food.
We didn't do our first dinner there. That was going to be
Hollywood.
Yeah, we skipped that one, but we went to 50's Primetime Cafe, which I thought from your description I was going to hate.
Right.
But I loved it. I had a really good time. Our waitress was really great. She was really funny. And the food my chicken pot pie was really good. So.
Except for the peas.
except for the meats, which I didn't eat all of, and then made Bret eat some of them. And then because I didn't eat them all, I got like 4 green beans in a little dish with whipped cream and sprinkles on top of them as my punishment, which I didn't eat. But somebody ate one of them, and our waitress was standing there when you ate it, and the look on her face was like, I don't think she had ever seen somebody actually eat one of them before.
With whipped cream, and I'm like going, it all goes down the same place. I'm like, yeah.
So I enjoyed that dinner a lot. It was fun.
And Cindy tried to get in trouble a lot there.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she noted that she absolutely loved the 50s diner.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Runaway Railway was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like, my favorite part is the Donald Duck when the tornado comes through. You'll have to put the picture in. Of him.
Step 1, step 2.
Yeah, that ride was really fun. But Slinky Dog was my most favorite in this park, and one of my most favorite overall. It was very, very fun.
Nice. Mom, what about you in Hollywood Studios?
All the rides that Kate said, really liked the Mickey and Minnie Mouse Runaway Railway, which I didn't think I would. Just because of the 3D and
how you moved around.
Yeah, how we moved around. But I really did like that. And Slinky Dog, oh my god, woo! Like, wow!
I was glad you guys liked that. I was glad that Aunt Cindy liked that one.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed the alien saucers being, I think she giggled a lot on that one. So I think she liked that. Like walking through just the Walt Disney Presents.
Yeah.
And seeing,
cool.
like, his vision and, like, the progression of the whole Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And it just, just to have one idea and just, wow. We did see other shows besides Indiana Jones, Aunt Cindy and I. We went and we saw, The First Time Is Forever, the Frozen sing-along celebration, which we have seen in the past. And I swear it was the same 2 cast members were still there, and they were the narrators. Hilarious. And I'm like laughing right along because I knew what was coming, and Cindy's like, oh my God, they're really entertaining. I'm like, yeah. It was just great. And then after we got out of that, we went and we met Olaf. We got our picture taken with Olaf, so that was cool. I did have to ask a cast member, like, where did we meet Olaf? And she's like, oh, just right around the corner. Every time I asked the cast member, like, where something was, because I was not confident in my map reading skills, it was either right around the corner or it was right there. I was there.
Well,
I
should have,
That's good.
The one time I think we were looking for pizza in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
and it was
Safari.
Yeah, the guy was like, literally. It's right there. Like, it's right in front of you.
Yes. And that was
okay.
that was not a janitor, but a cast member that was doing the garbage. And so we did that. We did Beauty and the Beast on stage. Oh my God, I love that show. I mean, I've seen that show before, and the way they do, like, they can see tons and tons of people at once, and it was just awesome because, of course, move down, make sure you have enough room for everyone. Just the theatrical and the singing and it was awesome. I mean, I took so many pictures, it wasn't funny. Enjoyed that. For lunch, we did Pizza Rizzo, which was formerly Pizza Planet.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah. And that was good. Aunt Cindy and I enjoyed that. And We ate there as, you know, just because it brought back memories and stuff. And I kept taking pictures of all of our food so Dad, Papa Griff could see it and be a part of our experience. Papa Griff was with us throughout the whole trip. Definitely. He was telling us, like, he knew which parks we were in, so he was looking on YouTube and looking at live streamers and saying, hey, this guy's here, look for him. So, and he did find us in the parks, and some days we didn't even notice the live streamers. So, that was funny. He's like, what are you guys looking at? You're staring at your phone. So, Woody's lunchbox was good. We ate there, lunch with you guys.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, the mobile ordering I had no problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know why? We just said, oh, yeah, we'll have this, and we had our expert order it for us. So we had a great time. Met the Incredibles. Took pictures with the Incredibles. We took pictures with, that's where we saw the chipmunks.
Yep.
And we met Minnie and Mickey there. So we got pictures with them. Who else? Was it just that?
That sounds like the characters you met at Hollywood.
Yeah, those are the characters we met at Hollywood.
Donald and Daisy were just out on the grass.
Right.
Yeah, we just took pictures of them. Same with Winnie the Pooh at Epcot.
He was out at Epcot catching butterflies, which was really cute.
So, but no, we had a great time. It is, yes, this is the hardest park to navigate. And Aunt Cindy and I went and we did the Star Wars Galaxy Edge, like walked around there. Oh my God. It all looked the same. To me, I mean, obviously it wasn't, but I felt like I could get lost. So we got out of there pretty quickly after I took pictures of each of the. We found you on your bench. And yeah, the shopping was good. Went in and out of the shopping areas, and Aunt Cindy really bought for her grandkids. And every little kid she saw, reminded them of them. And at every park, we got hit by bubbles. They had, what do you call them?
The bubble wands.
Bubble wands. And I swear the kids just gripped them, didn't care that they were going, and right in your face. Like, so every morning, every evening, every afternoon, didn't matter what time.
You
day,
never know when
whatever.
you're gonna walk through
a thing of bubbles.
Yeah, which I actually liked.
Yeah,
I liked the
I'm
bubbles.
like, oh, bubbles again.
Yeah.
So how was your experience with Hollywood?
So I think Hollywood might be, I don't know why, but I think it might be my favorite of the parks overall. And that's weird because obviously Magic Kingdom has the nostalgia and is Disney, quote unquote, at least for what people think. But Hollywood, I don't know, for me has a lot of the rides that I particularly like. Unfortunately, Rock and Roller Coaster was not available when we were there. It's in its refurb for summer, so that was a downer. But so yeah, I went on a bunch that you guys did not go on because of either their simulators or was the high thrill stuff, whatever it was. So Tower of Terror being one of them. Kate mentioned, sitting there and watching the tower open and whatnot and people panicking. So yeah, one thing I will say about Disney that's a little bit of a downer is single rider lines are almost non-existent in the parks. There's like one per park that has a single rider line. So Rock and Roller Coaster in Hollywood is. Everest has one, which is great. Sometimes Soarin' has one, Test Track has one, and I believe there's one other one that I can't think of. But so, unfortunately, without getting Genie Plus or the Lightning Lane, well, I guess Genie Plus just in this instance, have to wait in the line. When I got in the line, it wasn't awful, but it was down to half capacity because one of their elevator shafts, I guess, was not working. Oh. Ironically. But they must have fixed it at some point because it did go faster.
Partway
with the
through
later
it,
half. Yeah.
they started running it.
But yeah, that was a fun experience. It was one of more of those just like hit the checkbox, like, yep, I did it this trip. But funny enough, I was able to ride it twice in a row, thanks to a little cast magic and some teenagers, weirdly enough. So when I rode it the first time, I was in the back. And it's another thing, like we mentioned with the rides earlier, like depending on who's in your vehicle or your boat or whatever, depending on how many people are allowed, it can kind of add to the experience. And I had no problem with who was in the elevator that I was sharing with, but the cast thought differently. So with it being spring break, they had a cheer competition going on, I believe. They also had some high school bands that were performing.
Yep.
So there was a lot of more teenagers around, and in our elevator there was probably about 15 or so, along with a few other groups along with myself. And it's Tower of Terror, it's thrilling, it's going to drop, it's going to do all this stuff, so you expect people to scream. No worries. I'm laughing my ass off in the back while everyone else is doing their thing. And these teenagers felt very vocal about their feelings and happened to just, drop a lot of F-bombs or whatever towards the end of the ride. I don't know if the cast member had heard this as they were approaching the exit, or I don't know how the camera system works in there for security purposes or safety purposes. But the cast member let them exit and then points at the 7 of us or so in the back row and said, go over here, go over here, go over here. And I'm like, uh-oh, because the tone of voice at first, I was like, something's wrong. And I'm like, okay.
You're being asked to leave.
Yeah. It's like, what happened? But in reality, that cast member was like, that was an awful experience. I'm very sorry you had to go through that. We're going to let you ride the ride again. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we took an actual elevator up to the loading area again and got right back on, and we were front row that time. So that was just really nice. Like, I don't have to wait in this 40, 60-minute line again to go on it. So we got to ride it twice back to back. So that was a lot of fun, and I did appreciate that. And then from there, I went to the Star Wars area the first day because I had the Tower of Terror was the second day, but still the first day after we went to Indiana Jones, I had a lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance, and I've heard everybody praise this ride and watched Tim Tracker's videos over and over again about like how immersive and like incredible this experience is. It's not just about the ride, it's about getting to the ride, which sounds like weird, but other rides and experiences at Disney have this, where they have the pre-show, like Haunted Mansion is probably the most recognizable one. You get in the stretching room, and this whole sets the tone. Then you get to your ride vehicles, and you go from there on the actual ride. And Rise of the Resistance has that in droves, where it's like almost sequenced. So you get there, you get through the line, and you're set up in this room to watch this hologram of Rey explain what the situation is. The Resistance base, we're going to get you out of here, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get in transport. You exit that, and you see the transport there, along with Poe Dameron's X-Wing behind you, all preparing for this takeoff and launch. You enter the transport, and you see animatronics of the pilots in the ship. And you get in it, everybody piles in, and it's like it is a simulator, where you take off in the ship, and you can see out the front, and you can see out the back, and everything moves, and you see the planet leaving, and you go up there, and unfortunately you're attacked by not the Resistance, the First Order, and the X-Wings that are with you. Unfortunately, 2 of them die in action, and Poe goes to get reinforcements as you guys are captured by the First Order and taken onto a big Star Destroyer. And they literally break into your transport, and when it opens back up, you are in the Star Destroyer. So it opens up, and there are hundreds of stormtroopers.
That was your pick.
Waiting there for you. And it's funny too, because like cast members in general, they're very helpful, they're very kind, they're smiling all the time. There's few attractions where they don't do that. Haunted Mansion, they hate their lives. Tower of Terror, they're kind of spooky. This one, you can tell the cast members have fun because they're like, get out, stand here, and like they'll make fun of people too. There was the second time I rode it, the people who I was riding with weren't paying attention, and you're supposed to stand on colors or lines or like, and they're looking at me like, once they figure it out, you can join them. I'm like, okay. But, so they capture you. And you know you're free to take pictures and stuff like that, which I do appreciate because that is like a holy crap moment when those doors first open. But you go there, you get in a jail cell, you see another presentation there, and you're stuck. You're just standing there in the jail cell. Once again, the second time I rode the thing, like experiencing the ride twofold. Once the first time, once again, of me experiencing it in person for the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second time knowing everything that's going to happen and experiencing it again through someone else's eyes is like, oh, this is going to be awesome for you. They're like, where's the ride vehicles? Nah, give it a minute. You'll see them. But you're in the jail cell. You get broken out by the Resistance rescuing you. And then it's similar to the Remy Ratatouille ride where it's a trackless vehicle, so it's very smooth and runaway railway. Mm-hmm. And you're traveling through the Star Destroyer. You're running into stormtroopers. You're seeing AT-ATs there. You're seeing, you know, Resistance people fighting and trying to get you out of there. You run into Kylo Ren, him chasing after you, dropping down, and then stabbing the elevator shaft you're trying to escape from with his lightsaber. And then seeing the giant space battle outside of the Resistance and the First Order going at it. Until making your escape and dropping down into a drop pod, landing back into, you know, Batuu, just was incredible. It was a very cool experience. Star Wars fans absolutely need to go on this ride. I think you guys would be able to handle it. You have the simulator part where you take off, but I didn't think that was super rough. Mm-hmm. And then you do have the drop. That may be the worst part where you are coming into the planet super quick or, you know, not crash landing, but descending into that. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think it was very smooth and a cool experience overall. Now, we talked about TLC with the rides a little bit or touched upon it earlier. This is one that unfortunately can break down a lot because there are so many moving pieces. Mm-hmm. And I think each time I rode it, there was at least an aspect of the ride that was not working, which is too bad. But I don't think it took away from the overall, obviously, reaction or experience of it. Still loved it. Still would love to ride it again. So that was great to go on. Smuggler's Run I've rode in the past in California, but that was a fun experience, whether people were crashing on purpose and having to deal with that, or we had the panic group screaming their heads off in that too. That may have been way worse than the people crashing on purpose.
Really?
Yeah, it was me, a father, and 4 girls, and whoa, they were really, oh, you need to fly up! You need to fly this way! So terrible. But that was, you know, that was another single rider one, so that was easy to get on, so that wasn't too bad. Star Tours, just how as I remember it, maybe a little shorter than the past. So I think
that's a simulator, though. Right?
Yes. Star Tours and Smuggler's Run are both simulators. Yeah, you did Star Tours years ago.
You're right,
but,
and I've never done it since.
Right. But yeah, those were all good experiences. It's you mentioned the Galaxy's Edge, like you guys walking through that quickly, how you can get lost. That's a place, like, I definitely agree. If you don't know where you're going, it can be confusing. Yeah. Because it is like they're trying to recreate a marketplace. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle. There's a lot of different things. Things aren't labeled super well because they want to be immersed in, like, this is the world you're in. Yeah. So I get that. That is an experience that was really cool for me. Not being the biggest Star Wars fan, but, like, I would have loved to spend more time in that area. Not that I felt rushed, obviously. But, like, there's something, it's one of those things you can see something new every time you look somewhere. Yeah. So, like, seeing the Millennium Falcon out there, seeing Kylo Ren's ship come out there, you know, different things. and it feels living because the characters are just walking around.
Yeah.
When I was there, luckily some stormtroopers came out with an Imperial officer, and they introduced Kylo Ren, and then Kylo Ren went to walk and do a lap around the place. I was standing in line for some merch, and Rey and Chewbacca randomly walked behind me. I didn't even know until I turned. I was like, oh, and there they go. Apparently Mandalorian and Grogu have made their appearance in Florida. I didn't see them. I kind of should have asked because I would have wanted to see them, but I also feel like they would have been swarmed.
Yeah, you would have known.
Yeah, but that's just it's different compared to obviously the rest of the parks where it is that whole lineup thing. Once again, it makes it feel more alive, living, and just adds to that experience. So I think, I think Hollywood Studios is one of my favorite parks, but that might also just be because of the IP, the property that is integrated into it. Like, if you're not into Star Wars, you're not going to get that out of it. And then Toy Story being new to us, being built shortly, I believe, after Pandora, that was a whole new experience for us. So that was very cool. But yeah, Hollywood is great. I agree. Dine at 50's Diner was a blast.
Yeah.
Going back to that.
I wish we went through the circus part of Toy Story, like where you can meet Mickey and Minnie, where it was
Circus Park.
Yeah, the tent, circus tent.
That's in Magic Kingdom.
Is it in Magic Kingdom?
I believe so. You're talking about Pete's
maybe
circus thing that
maybe
Dad was talking about?
Yes, because that had that had the merchandise into it.
Yeah.
I am talking about
Okay, yeah, no worries. But speaking of meet and greets, we met BB-8, so that was cool. He had a short line.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. One thing I wish I wish I did. You mentioned the Walt Presents. Very cool to see that memorabilia or stuff.
Right.
Because I don't think we've done that in the past. I kind of wish I went back to watch the One Man's Dream, the documentary.
I think we would have liked that.
Yeah, we went through it quick, and then we were trying to make Indiana Jones, and we just never made our way back. So I'd say that was the only thing in there that it was like, didn't get to go on. Besides Rock and Roller Coaster, but that was not in our power.
No, that was not.
So shall we get to the big one? Shall we get to Magic Kingdom? Mrs. G, you want to kick us off?
Well, this is the place to be. So my favorite ride, one of them, of course, is the Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We didn't do it the first day. The first day, it had a long wait time.
Yep.
Which, if we thought about it, we should have still went onto it because we realized the wait times after a while were they put up a high number, and it really wasn't that number. It was less waiting time.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah. So I was kind of a little down the first day because we didn't do that. But other than that, I mean, everything we did was awesome. I loved going back to all the rides, Haunted Mansion and Pirates, and just doing the Dumbo ride, and we did the Barnstormer, and Cindy and I were into the Barnstormer, and the thing goes down, and you're not moving, because, it's a kid's ride.
It's a kid's ride.
So women's hips, oh boy.
Yeah, she mentioned getting in and out was a little difficult with some of them, but we managed.
we did manage. But when this ride stopped, and we first tried to get out, we went and neither one of us moved. So we looked at the cast member and was joking around saying, do you have a shoehorn? Or do you have a crowbar or something? So it just took us a minute to breathe and then get out. We did the saucers, the teacups, Alice in Wonderland, the three of us, because somebody would not do that.
We would have all. Three of us.
I know. the three of us, we had to sit sideways.
Side saddle. Couldn't even spin anything too much.
Because our knees were hitting
I would have sat on
the
your
middle
lap.
part. It was fun though. It was fun. Loved everything. I mean, I dragged Aunt Cindy into seeing the Country Bear Jamborees. The three of us did Small World because, again, Kate wouldn't go on Small World because she just didn't want to hear it.
Nope. I went on it one time at Disneyland, and that was enough for the rest of my life.
Well, we went on. Aunt Cindy and I went on to it a couple of times. Then we went to the Tiki Room. We saw that Jungle Cruise. Totally.
Skipper Cody was great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally fun. It was just like, yeah, had to do Snow White as much as I could. So we wound up riding that a couple of times. Big Thunder Mountain was also always a good thing. We did Peter Pan's Flight a couple of times, and the honey poo with the honey pots a couple of times. And that, the last day of our Disney vacation, Dad told us that there was this gentleman, a streamer, Drew, that was there, and he's telling us what he's wearing and everything, and tie-dye, look for him. He's right in your section. So I'm like, okay. So I said to Bret, guy's wearing tie-dyes with his wife, and Bret goes, could that be him right there?
This guy holding a giant thing with a phone on it. And then I look at it like, yeah, that's a chat going up. That's him.
And we're in line for a poo in the honey pots. So I turn around. I'm like, are you Drew? To his wife, is that Drew? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, my husband's watching you back in New York. And I said, he told us that you're here. And he's like, oh, do you want to say hi? So I got my 5 seconds of fame. I said hi to Mike on camera. And so if you want to see that.
YouTube,
Dad,
you're here.
Yeah, no, go to YouTube. And actually, Papa Griff put it onto his Facebook page that he saw us. So, and the link so you can see. Yeah, we never went over to Tom Sawyer's Island, which we were planning on, but we never did. So that was, sorry we didn't do that. We did Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, you guys did.
We never did.
You guys didn't do that, which I was surprised. And we did the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. Mm-hmm. That was fun. That was fun.
I am so glad that you didn't tell me that there was audience participation because I would not have gone in.
Oh, and Monsters... No, it wasn't...
No, it wasn't bad at all, but if you had told me before we went in that there was audience participation...
I made sure you were safe because you need to trust your bee. If you sit in front of a lamp, you can get called on. I made sure you didn't sit in front of a lamp. Well, I bit the bullet for you.
I didn't know anything.
And luckily didn't get called.
I wanted to be in front of the lamp. Right?
Sit in front of a lamp, you have a chance.
I appreciate you looking out for me. I really enjoyed it. I was glad that we went. I was glad that I didn't know it before because I had a really good time and I liked it. But I would have been very nervous had I known that there was audience participation.
What do you mean? You just had to think of a number.
Yeah.
That was so fun. And the guy right in front of us was that guy.
Yep.
That was yes, he was picked out. The Hall of Presidents. I mean, you always have to do the Hall of Presidents. That's just...
We did not do the Hall of Presidents.
I know,
because you don't always have to do
well, it was a show. So,
no, I understand.
I mean, yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, need a breather.
Yeah,
and this is something good to,
Yeah, that was Carousel of Progress.
Right? Carousel of Progress.
I slept through the carousel. That is a very peaceful place to take a nap. If you need to take a nap and you don't want to leave the park.
Oh my God.
It was great.
No, we did that, and then the Transit Authority. We went on that.
Mm-hmm.
The People
Mover. People Mover. We saw. What did we see? Jack Sparrow. I got her picture with Jack Sparrow. Saw parades during the day. We did not stay for fireworks. And Cindy is, she's claustrophobic, and she just, I didn't think the crowds at nighttime were great. Like, one night at Epcot, we were there till almost the fireworks started, and I'm trying to rush her out of Epcot. The ball is glowing, and I'm like, crap, fireworks don't start running. We did ride the Skyliner during the day from Epcot to Hollywood Studios, and then we took the bus from Hollywood Studios back to our resort. But Magic Kingdom, yeah, I love Magic Kingdom. We had Dole Whip. We tried Dole Whip for the first time, which was pineapple, and you have to really like pineapple. That's all I got to say about it.
I always thought it had like the vanilla
I did too.
flavor in it, but you said that yours didn't.
It was I like pineapple, but it was like tarty pineapple. I'm like, it was too much.
Yeah.
You definitely needed like a water. It was a lot. And then we went over to Storybooks Treats after lunch, because they supposedly had the Seven Dwarfs cones, and each day they were they would do a special cone. So they would feature Dopey one day and feature Grumpy or whatever. So when I went up to the window and asked for a Seven Dwarfs cone, we're no longer doing that. I'm like, oh. And the Snow White cone was a flavor that I didn't like, and I knew I didn't like. So I wound up getting the Hi-Ho Sundae. That was delicious. Huge. But Hi-Ho, oh yeah. It was really good. But yeah, Disney to me is the Magic Kingdom. Always will be my first love for the parks. Just it was a lot of fun because I shared it first with Mike and then with Bret. That's it. You guys go.
Yeah, I loved it too. We did a lot of stuff. And I was glad that we planned for 3 days because there's so much stuff to do, which we didn't use Genie Plus for any of our days, which I will talk about more. However, because of that, I'm glad that we had 3 days to make sure that we got to do everything that we wanted to do. So we went, I'm literally just going to go down the list.
Sure.
We went on Jungle Cruise, which was very fun. And all of these I was going on for the first time. So, like, I've seen videos of a lot of them, but it was just fun. It was really fun to do a lot of these rides.
O2H.
Yeah.
O2H.
That, like, Bret has done when he was a kid, and, like, I don't know, you just hear about them for a long time, their classic rides, and then finally getting to go on it for the first time. It was really, really fun. So I really liked the Jungle Cruise. Pirates of the Caribbean, I got to do. It was described to me by Bret as a 90-degree drop straight down into darkness.
You can check out that podcast. I don't remember what number.
So that's what I was told. And I was expecting it to be like a boop, but it was a little bit more of a drop than what I thought it was going to be. But it was not 90 degrees straight down into darkness.
It was dark.
It was dark. It's a very fun ride. Yeah. I enjoyed that one. We went on that one a couple times. 2 or 3 times. And it was very fun. We went on Big Thunder Mountain a couple times. We went on it the first time, and then I liked it so much that we got right back in line and went on it again.
Yep.
And we went on it a couple more times after that. It was very fun. The wildest ride in the wilderness. I liked it a lot. It was very, very fun. This trip is the first trip where I have ever ridden roller coasters with my hands up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very proud of myself. I feel like I'm a thrill ride enthusiast now. Within reason. We did not the Hall of Presidents. We did Carousel of Progress, which I slept through, as I said, which was a very enjoyable experience for me. We went on Haunted Mansion, which I had been on one time before, but it was in California and it was in October, so they had the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay on it the first time that I went on it. So this was the first time going on the actual ride, which I did enjoy, but I will say I prefer the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. I enjoyed that more just because I really, really like Nightmare Before Christmas, and I watched it a ton as a kid, so that had way more nostalgia and enjoyment for me, but I still liked it. I still had fun. We went on Peter Pan's Flight, which is good, but I don't know why people wait 2 hours for it. Every day of the year it has such a long wait, but it was still fun. We had to sit in it for a while.
We got stuck.
Yeah.
Which was fine. We were in the part where you're like up above the city when we stopped, so we were like, I don't know if I jump out, how far? So we sat there and pondered that for a while.
I'm either gonna break my legs or I'm gonna sprain an ankle.
We went on The Journey of the Little Mermaid, which was okay. I feel like that one was really showing its age.
Which is weird because it's one of the newer ones.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason to me.
In terms of dark rides.
Maybe it was just because you're closer to the animatronics or something. Something about it, I was like, wow, that kind of doesn't look that great. But it was fine. It was still fun.
You know what I wonder it is? Because we talked about it with a lot of rides, how dark they are. That one's very bright. I wonder if things aren't as hidden.
Yeah, you just see everything.
Sure. Because Ursula looks good.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Yeah, where they're partying and stuff, it's like bright.
Yeah.
But
we went on the Barnstormer, which I really, really liked. That was the second roller coaster that we went on, I think, after Everest, and I was like, thank God I can go on this one, and because it's a kid's coaster, so I was like having the best time. We rode the Barnstormer like probably 6 times on this trip because I liked it so much. So that was very fun. And the last day that we were there was the cutest Canadian family behind us, and they were taking their little daughter. This was her first ever like roller coaster ride, and it was just so cute. She had such a good time. It was so fun to hear them have such a good time. We went on Dumbo a few times, which was really fun. We went on Winnie the Pooh like probably 5 times because that's one of my favorite Disney IPs. So I went on that a lot and I loved it. We went on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train 3 or 4. We ended up going 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah, because after hours too, so 4.
Yeah. Which is really, really fun. Loved that one. I like the
swaying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought I was kind of worried that was going to make me feel sick, but you don't. Yeah. It's not like you're like swinging back and forth the whole time. It's just a little bit
to smooth it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very smooth, very fun. I like that ride a lot, and I thought that was like a new ride because it's so popular and it always had such a long line, but it's not. So I guess it's just one of those that is like
opened up last time we went,
still wants
which
to
was
go on
8 years ago. So.
And that was as we learned, like you said, that they'll say the wait time is 80 minutes, but it's definitely not.
No, it will still be up there, but
first thing in the morning. So then we learned to go right there and just get in the line. But there were still people sprinting, literally sprinting to this ride, which is just craziness to me. Anyways, but it was very fun and I loved it. We went on did not go on Space Mountain. Did not go on Astro Orbiter. We went on the People Mover. And then we did the Laugh Floor. Mm-hmm. Is that it? For rides?
Didn't do Tomorrowland Speedway?
No.
Because the fumes. I believe that's everything. Didn't do Aladdin's carpets.
No.
Excuse me.
No. But they're so
that's basically
similar to...
Oh, it's
that's
Dumbo,
basically
yeah.
Dumbo.
Didn't do Liberty Boat.
No.
We didn't do Astro Orbiter, which is also basically Dumbo, just like higher up.
Didn't do Splash Mountain because it's being redone.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing for me because... Not necessarily because I needed to see how the ride was before they redo it. I don't particularly care about that. But just the type of ride it is in general, like Jurassic World in Universal. I really wanted to go on that type of ride. So I was sad that it was closed just for that reason. Because I feel like I would have gone on it a lot of times.
I wanted to see how Anthony survived the drop.
Uh-huh. That might have been one that
she might have
hated us after.
Yeah,
I feel like she did great.
Oh yeah, she did
fantastic.
Yeah,
I think she went on everything that we went on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And she kept up pretty much with us the whole time.
her and chat. No. Yeah, did you guys ever get close enough to see the drop from the tree in the construction, or no? Like, did you ever look at it, or just walk past?
We just walked past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to not look at it before you go on it. That makes it worse.
No.
We had good food. I'm trying to think of what all we had there. Probably one of my most favorite foods that we got from the whole trip was the big ass cinnamon roll from Gaston's. We got that 3 separate times because it was so good.
Yeah.
Really loved that. What else did we?
Liberty Tree Tavern.
Yeah, our dinner there was...
Yeah, that pot roast melted in your mouth. It was like...
It was so good.
Mike's grandmother's brought back wonderful memories, and it was just like...
Yep.
We could have just had that. I mean... But they brought turkey... At Liberty Tree Tavern, it was...
turkey, mashed potatoes, pork...
Yeah.
Stuffing.
Some kind of veggie. Yeah, the pot roast was for the 50th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all really good, but yeah, that pot roast was amazing.
It was so good. I had to tell you to not let me eat any more of it. Because I would have eaten it until I felt sick. Yeah. It was so good. And the salad that they had.
That was salad was really good. Yep. Yeah, that was definitely go back there.
Yes.
Definitely would go back to, of course, the Liz Cellier at Epcot. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not
for
enough.
sure.
Not enough on that plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you needed the bigger.
And the diner, 50s diner, definitely would go back to.
I'd go back to Coral Reef too, for me personally, because the salmon that I got there was so good.
I'll take your word for it.
I would go back to, I think, almost all of the restaurants that we went to, except Planet Hollywood. I wouldn't go there again. But everywhere else, we had really good food.
Yeah. The last night at Boat Rights.
Boat Rights was a little questionable.
Yeah. Well, it was Cajun, and it was hot, and we didn't... When they said blacken, we didn't realize how blacken it was going to be.
Yeah.
But, the other dinner that I loved was Wednesday night, our free day. And Cindy and I went to Point Place, which is in Fort Wilderness. And we actually got to meet Snow White and Dopey and Grumpy and the Queen. And it was, you would order either this dish or that dish. There wasn't a big selection of dishes, but they would serve it to you. You would have your appetizers on a tree stand, and it would depend on how many people there were, how many branches there were onto this tree stand. So, of course, there was only 2 of us, so you started out with like a mushroom soup, which was really good. There was a breaded appetizer that had ham and turkey into it, which we didn't really taste the meats, but it was good. And then the other appetizer was, what's the stuff that Anthony likes? Shrimp. And I'm like, nope. She ate that. It was great. I had this nice prime rib, which at most places that's what I was ordering was prime rib. It was delicious. Delicious. Snow White and Dopey and Grumpy all came to your tables and met you. And the Queen, they gave you a card, and when she wanted to see you, they presented a card to you saying your presence is requested by the Queen. So you had to go up to her. It was a great experience. And that day Anthony and I explored a couple other resorts because they were supposed to have Easter eggs out, chocolate Easter egg out. We rode the monorail. I actually managed to figure out how to get on the monorail. We went to Magic Kingdom, got on the monorail, and then went to 3 different resorts. So we saw the Contemporary, which is the closest to Magic Kingdom that you can walk into Magic Kingdom from, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian, which the Grand Floridian is the one that is on all the commercials where Cinderella's coming down the stairs. And that was beautiful. They had their Easter eggs out. And if you've seen my Facebook, you'll see the Easter eggs posted on there. Just awesome. And then from there, we took a bus and we went to the Boat and Yacht Club, which were supposed to have Easter eggs. They didn't. But at each one, we walked around a little bit just to see their check-in area and stuff. And we ate lunch there, and then we went back to our resort and did our laundry, went to the pool, and then got ready for our dinner with Snow White. So, sorry, I drifted.
You're good. Yeah, you guys pretty much hit Magic Kingdom right on the head of everything, all the experiences that we did. I'll agree, the cinnamon roll was nice to have. I will...
Like places, Artist Point.
Yeah, Artist Point. So yeah, things I missed out on this time were Space Mountain and Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And then I will say, my closing note on Magic Kingdom. Boy, is timing a bitch sometimes. So when we arrived, I knew that they were having annual pass previews for the new Tron coaster, Light Cycle Run, on that Sunday that we arrived, and that was going to be our first Magic Kingdom day. We have been able to get into new attractions very luckily on previous trips with the refurb for Pirates of the Caribbean, with adding Jack Sparrow into there. So I figured, hey, ask around. Maybe I'll be able to, because being only one person who's going to ride it, maybe they'll let me in. Asked the cast member at the preview event if they would have any available space. They said no. No worries, no harm, no foul. We also, Kate and I went to an after-hours event, which was a lot of fun. We went on a bunch of the rides that she had listed previously, went to that before. And I was like, oh, maybe they'll have it open then, because it's extra ticketed event, it's a smaller crowd, whatever. They had the canopy going, but no coasters, trains going through. So it wasn't open then. The day before we left, on Twitter, they announced that they were going to be doing the soft opening the 20th until just before the actual launch on April 5th. And the 20th was unfortunately when we were flying out. So all the lightning lanes, all the virtual queue sold out for that within minutes that morning. So unfortunately did not go on Tron. It looks very cool on the outside.
It does.
Seeing the trains go by from their numerous testing whether it's the annual pass holder event, whether it was the media event they held to show the merchandise along with the character outfits, and the post show to the media outlets. Looks great. I've seen a ride through both Tokyo's original version and this one. Seems like a cool experience. I get the criticisms of it seems short, and then obviously the size of the ride vehicles for American audiences. I get that, but it just would have been cool to experience. And now it's just something down the line they'll have to look forward to. But yeah, just like missed it, missed it by that much.
One day.
But yeah, Magic Kingdom. Other than that, is like you said, it's what Disney is. So it was just that experience of, coming home along with the hotel, being home, the castle, everything there was great. Yeah, exactly. You guys in chat, thank you. Yeah, exactly. It's just something for the next trip, something to look forward to. Funny enough, there were so many times where I had to bite my tongue because, like Kate said, Barnstormer rode it a bunch. Tron is very plain in view. There is no sight line cut off or anything. There were a few times for the media preview event, they're like, oh, people are riding it. People in line are saying that. I'm like, they're doing an annual pass thing. They're doing a media event. Like, I was that guy, like, actually. And later on in the trip, like, being back in the line queue for that, and everybody's like, oh my God, is that Tron? I heard it was this. I wonder if it's open. I was just like, kid, don't say anything. Don't be that guy. Just like, no, it's actually opening this day and then this. I'm just like, I want to help. I want to answer questions. But,
oh, wait, so me and Cindy and I were doing that with... we were feeling old.
Oh, no, I was just like, I don't know. I just wanted to be helpful. Like, we had the people at the bus station asking about Genie Plus, and I felt, that was to me, I was like, yeah, I can help. I don't know. I liked it, yeah. Just being able to share that experience or trying to help people in that way. So that was fun. Well, thank you. But yeah, that will be something for next time. And like Papa Griff said, there's a lot of changes that are coming. You have Tron obviously opening, soft open now, actual opening April 5th. I'm sure that's going to be crazy. That will be a virtual queue like Guardians is right now. And that will be probably their new individual lightning lane if they don't do two with Snow White's because of how, like you guys said, how busy it still is. Maybe they will. We have Woody's Lunchbox, which just opened. We'll have Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is the refurb for Splash Mountain. We will have Moana's doing a meet and greet, I believe, in Animal Kingdom. We'll have her new area in Epcot along with the Figment and the new central hub. You'll have Mirabelle doing her meet and greet at the Casita where Merida is currently right now. We have the potential, like we talked about earlier, of a Zootopia area and a Moana area and maybe even a Villains area and Coco area and something else in Magic Kingdom. But obviously these are all very far. Well, some of these are very far in the future. But that's the magic of Disney too, of like it's constantly changing and evolving, so there's always something new. So it is something, like you guys said in chat, of like to look forward to for next time.